Hello, my dears, and welcome to my channel. As always, I am very happy and grateful that you've chose to spend your time with me, and supporting my channel is really easy. Like the video, leave a comment, subscribe, and click on the notification bell of when you'd like to be notified of when I drop a new video. And I hope that you're all doing well, but if not, I do hope things will get better for you soon. And if you want to forget about things for just a little while, join me in meeting the fairy tale heroine Oracle. And this deck was created by Sharon Blackie and illustrated by Amanda Clark. It's published by Hay House, and it is set to be released Tuesday, September 9th. And retails for $26.99. And Sharon also has another deck called the Rooted Woman Oracle, and Amanda also has illustrated on the Enchanted Earth Oracle. And this is the second deck that I received in my Hay House Deck Club, which is a seasonal release. You get different things in the box, and it's a subscription. You just pay a certain amount, and each season they will send you a box. And I don't know what's going on with it, honestly. I thought this was from the deck club, but I guess they're doing something different this time, because this is also included in the Awakened the Oracle Within collection, and that they're running it as a limited edition time offer, that once those are gone, they're gone. But I'm assuming they're still going to have the Hay House Deck Club, but apparently can't find anything on the website. That may have changed or will change, but as of the release of this video, that's all the information I have on it. And the ones that you'll get if you do the Awaken Oracle is the Trust Your Vibes, and I've already done a video on that one. You'll get this one, the Fairy Tale Heroine, and then also you will get the Inner Temple Oracle. And I'm going to do a video on this next to kind of give you guys an idea. And I am not sponsored by Hay House. I just think it's a great thing, the collection, because it's worth it, even if you only like one of the decks. It's worth the money, I think. And they are pre-releases. These haven't been released yet, so you get them before that, so you have that little edge. All right, so the box itself, I really like this box. It's 5.5 inches height, across is 4 inches, and the width is 1.75. My complaint with most of these decks, they don't have the title on the top or the bottom. I really wish they would, but it is on the side, and it only has it on the one side. So I don't know. I guess they think that you're gonna stack them like this or stack them like that. All right, so it is a magnetic box, as you can hear. And on the back we have some teaser cards, and it says fairy tales hold rich deep lessons that reveal a pathway towards change and living more fully in the world. At their heart is the process of transformation. The archetypal images, characters, and motifs in this magical oracle act as keys to unlock your inner wisdom and often offer comfort, guidance, and inspiration at every point of the long, winding journey of life. And then you have a little bit about the creators. Okay, so when you open it up, oh, it's so pretty. You get this. That's why I like this box. And it says, stories are spells, they change things. May they and the images you encounter in this deck offer sound guidance for your heroine's journey. And then you do get the ribbon, and it pulls out the guidebook for one side, and then it'll pull out the cards with the rest of it. And then, as you can see, it is beautifully illustrated on the inside. You get the full picture once you have the cards out. Okay, so there are 48 cards in this deck, and as you can see, they are bigger, as most oracle cards are, than your tarot deck. And the dimensions for the cards are 5 inches height, across is 3.5, and the deck is about 3/4 of an inch width. And reversals will be revealed if you choose to use them. Most of the time, a lot of people don't use reversed oracles, and that's okay. I mean, it's totally up to you. And so we'll just go ahead, and I will do, I'll show you the deck, and then we will go over the structure of the deck, because there are different suits in this deck. But let's go ahead and do a flip through, I guess you could call it. And I really like the illustrations. I really do. Oops, kind of sticking together. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to work with these yet because I just got them recently. That's beautiful. It's so beautiful. And out of the 3 decks that I got out of the box, this is my favorite. I really like this deck. And they are separated into 12 cards in each suit. And I should have brought this up when I started. If you see the number, they have different symbols to tell you which suit it belongs in. So the circles are the tasks section or suit. So there's 12 of each. And then we move on to the next ones, and it starts at 1. And so the squares, these are places. Okay, then the next suit is guides. And then the last one is tools. Okay. All right. So, that is the deck. Okay. So, how it is structured is you have the different suits. And I should have done this while I was showing you the cards, but didn't think about it until I was done. Okay, so this deck is good for writers as well. If you're a writer and you're wanting to come up with stories as well, or if you're in a role-playing tabletop game as well, and you need a little something, you know, you're kind of running out of ideas to introduce to your chronicle, you can do that. Alright, so the circle ones are tasks, and these are representation of the work that you must do to transform and grow. And it just gives you different things you have to do. And then the second one is places. And these are magical locations that the heroine will have to pass through. And then the third suit is the guides. And these are allies or antagonists the heroine will meet. And then the last suit are tools, and these are objects that empower the heroine to fulfill her destiny. And for the readings, if you want to separate them out like this and then do them separately to give you ideas stories and stuff like that. That's a suggestion. Or you can just read them all together. You know, you can just use them all together. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and, well, we can do that. We'll do that. We'll shuffle them and pull one separately, I guess. So the cards are, the cardstock I'm not crazy about. It's okay. It's a little flexible, but it seems a little stiff. And that may change the longer that you use it. Alright, so the guidebook is 136 pages and there are no reversal meanings. And we have our content page. And we get the different suits. And then we have the introduction. And they just introduce stories and how we are storytelling animals, and we like to tell stories. And if you want to pause and read that at your leisure, feel free. And there's some more about stories and fairy tales. And then we have the fairy tale heroine's journey. And Sharon wrote about how she became obsessed with fairy tales, and then talks about how basically past fairy tale heroines were passive princesses, and that she goes into past ones just as examples and everything. And with these fairy tales, she is giving women I guess you could say independence is the best way I can put it. And then she just goes on to describe the hero's journey. And then we go on to the oracle deck as an allied and a guide. And then she goes and she talks about oracles in classical Greece, and describes one and what the word oracle refers to. And she just goes into background of oracles in general. And you can read that at your leisure and pause it. And then she talks about how the deck is structured. And I just went through that. Consists of 48 cards, 12 cards that need 4 suits. And then goes into a little bit deeper of the different suits, task, places, guide, and tools. And working with the fairy tale and heroine oracle. And just goes into this is the section, goes into a little bit about oracles as well. And the nature of the deck. And then you can do this if you want. I consider this suggestive. It's totally up to you how you introduce yourself to the deck if you want to. And she basically gives you suggestions on how to do that. And then using the deck for readings, also suggestions. Everybody has their own unique way that they do that. And offer some questions, which is always nice. And then goes into more suggestions. And if you want to pause that and read that at your leisure, totally feel free. And then journaling, and then thank your guides, and how you can store your deck. And then we've got some spreads. We've got a 1-card pull, and we have the Fairy Tale Heroine's Journey spread. And then she talks about going deeper, journaling, art journaling, dream work, active imagination, and just goes into the background on those. And then write your own fairy tale. And you can use the spread. Let me see if I can pull it back. The Fairy Tale Heroine's Journey spread. And that just gives you a question, example questions you can use for each suit if you want to do it that way. And then we go into the meanings, and they're separated by the suits. So you have your card title and the number, and then you get the meaning, and then the question to ask yourself. And that is basically how it is set up. And I don't know if you could see it, but it is separated with the gray. So you might be able to, when you're flipping through it, see the gray. So you can kind of figure out which section to go to. And in the back, we have about the author, little blurb, and her website. And then we have Amanda and her socials as well. And then we have an Empower You Unlimited audio app if you want to listen for your free trial for guided meditations. And Hay House, I guess, is offering it. All right, so let's do... Okay, questions for each suit. We'll do each suit instead of doing 1-card pull, so you can kind of get an idea. Okay, so we're going to do tasks. So let's see. Okay, so I guess what am I facing now at the stage of the heroine's journey in my life? And shuffling, there's no right or wrong way to do shuffling. You can do it any way you want to. Okay. Sleeping. Okay. Then the next one. We'll do the meaning after I pulled all the cards. All right. What are the tools? Let's see. Is this okay? What is the nature of the place I need to find my way to where I'll be tested to my limits? Home. Well, that kind of makes sense, sleeping at home. Okay. What are the tools and who are the guides who can inform and direct me? Got a frog. And what are the tools who can inform and direct me? Seeds. Okay, this is kind of an odd thing. Okay, so what am I facing now at the stage of my heroine's journey? Okay, sleeping. All right. Sometimes, at a critical juncture in her story, a fairy tale heroine will fall asleep and she'll stay asleep for a very long time, perhaps even for that magical period of 100 years. Sometimes she'll fall into a deep sleep that, like the Sleeping Beauty on her silk-covered bed or Snow White in her coffin of glass, it will seem to the onlookers that she's dead. Nevertheless, she is not dead, nor does the protracted slumber make her a passive character. While she's caught up in this stage of apparent suspended animation, something important is being incubated inside of her. And so, above all, this deep sleep reflects a process of deep transformation. The heroine is repairing and renewing herself. She's also preparing herself, making herself ready for the prince who will soon arrive and for the next, more active and relational stage of her life. And like the butterfly in the making, that's still resting and growing in the darkness of its cocoon, the time will soon come for her to wake up and break free. What do you need to take time to intubate in your life right now? What wants to grow in the slow darkness of your becoming? All right, so the next one is, what is the nature of the place I need to find my way to where I'll be tested to my limits? And home. Okay. All right. Every fairy tale's heroine story begins at home. Her story is rarely a safe place, though, and the story begins properly when it's taken away from her or she's rejected from it, penniless and apparently friendless. The reason why the heroine must leave home is always because something important is lacking there. Often it's the lack of a good mother, usually because she's dead or powerless. In the former case, she might be replaced by a wicked stepmother or a good father who might be missing in action or actively abusive. The situation of lack that is faced by the heroine is generally made worse by the presence of wicked sisters or stepmothers, or stepsisters, sorry. In some stories, such as Hansel and Gretel, there might instead be a lack of money and therefore of the parents' ability to feed their family. Nevertheless, for all it might lack, home is a force to be reckoned with. It is the place of the heroine's beginning, the place that made her, and the nature of it will always, in some ways, define and confine her. It may be frightening to be cast out of her original home, but it is a necessary first step on her journey of transformation, her journey to adulthood. In what ways did the place of your beginnings confine or define you? Was there a lack which has affected you at least part of your story? Okay, now we have guide who can inform and direct you. And apparently it's a frog. Okay, so that's number 8. In the fairy tale The Frog Prince, a spoiled princess reluctantly befriends a frog she encounters after dropping a golden ball into a pond under a linden tree. He retrieves it for her in exchange for her friendship. The frog, who is under a spell, magically transforms back into a handsome prince. In the original Brothers Grimm version of the story, the spell of the frog is broken only when the princess, who is irritated by everyone's demand on her, throws him against a wall, at which point he changes back into his natural form. It is only in the more modern versions of the tale that the transformation is triggered by the princess kissing the frog. Although the princess's action may seem violent, she simply had enough of her father and the frog telling her what to do and how to be. She refuses the bad bargain she made and defies her father's will. We might imagine she's also defying the traditional roles according to women. Only when all of this rejection does the frog's transformation take place, and then he becomes a prize that the princess has won on her own terms. However, the frog's transformation might be achieved. It's the fairy tale heroine who triggers it. The heroine who holds the transformational power. Any spell can be broken, and above all, the story of the Frog Prince may encourage us not to turn away from something which may be at first seem unpleasant. Even the greenest, gnarliest frog may have had the potential to become an unexpected prince. What spell that has a hold of you do you need to break? And then lastly, we have, what was the question? Oh, tools. What are the tools who can inform and direct me? And then we have seeds, which is 11. Okay, in fairy tales, a seed symbolizes a possibility that can be planted and nurtured, something that can grow from a situation and flourish, no matter how perilous or insuperable, blah, blah, blah. I cannot pronounce that. That situation might seem. Seeds, then, are about intubation, but the right conditions must exist for the seeds to germinate. The germination of a seed is a metaphor for soul work, the work that we all must do to grow into wholeness. It takes place in the long dark out of which everything is born, deep in the underworld, where the seeds will burst out of its hard coat before emerging above ground in spring. But a germinated seed must be tended. It must be nourished and cared for if it is to grow to its full potential, if it is to flower, fruit, and ripen. Seeds frequently appear in fairy tale sorting tasks, and so they also represent disconcernment. What is it exactly that should grow from this situation? What exactly will you sow, and what will you reap from it? What's intubating in you right now, and does it have the right conditions to grow? When it emerges, how will you help it to flourish? Interesting. Okay. So it just seems okay with sleeping. Okay, so it's kind of weird. So we have the sleeping, and while they're sleeping, they're repairing and renewing themselves. And then over here we have the seeds. What kind of seeds are you wanting to plant while you're intubating or sleeping or repairing yourself and renewing yourself and resting? It could be a planning stage to where you're trying to figure things out and you're taking care of yourself, and then you're having to eventually leave home and go out into the world, and you put those ideas that you're planting in your head, and you put those out for them to grow, and you work on them. Now the frog seems kind of weird. But it could be the catalyst. It's like you go out and you're like expected to be a certain way, and you're like, no, that's not me. This is what I want to do, and I don't want anybody to tell me what I should or shouldn't do. So that's just off the cuff. I'm just doing this kind of illustrating what you could come up for a story, and you could have just done it this way and done it that way, and that could be the story right there. that's one way that you can do it, or you can just shuffle them all together and pull one card. Like I said, it is totally up to you how you want to use this deck, but I thought I would give it a shot with the different suits to kind of give you an idea. And these I think would be good for story starters. If you're struggling to write a story, or you're stuck in your story that you're writing as you're doing it, I think these would be good as well to help you with that. And that is all I have for this deck. Kind of unique deck, but there are a few story decks, story writer helper decks out there. But that is all I have for this deck. If you did get this deck, if you are part of the subscription, or if you bought it with the what is it called again? The Awaken the Oracle Within collection. Let me know how it's working out for you, and if you're enjoying the deck or not. Always interested in feedback. And there might not be people aware of this deal that's going around. And if you want to encourage them, just leave it in the comments. Everything is, welcomed here, whether positive or negative. But once again, thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I hope that you will join me with another video. But until next time, take care and goodbye, my dears.